Easy on the beat. Easy on the beat.
Hey, can you hear me? 'Cause I don't know if I can hear you. Oh, hold on, hold on. Hold on, I'll be back.
Hi, Jay.
Hey,
Where's everyone at?
I don't know. Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay. Yeah, for some reason Marcus was saying he couldn't. Oh, fuck. You know what? I'm just going to scratch this and do another stream. I'm going to start it all over again.
All right, do it now. Let's go.
Okay. All right. Okay. Well, hopefully you guys can hear me. Let me go ahead and bring Marcus back in. So, Marcus, can you hear me now?
I can hear you now, but man, I feel bad. You talked 15 minutes on mute, I think, and I had to get Adam in here to say, I think his mic's not working because I couldn't hear you, and I pulled up 3 different screens.
Really? Okay. So
Yeah.
I just went in and checked my audio output, and it looks like my audio output was not set for my mic. So that's my bad, my fault. Sorry about that.
Yeah, I didn't want you to go a whole hour talking where no one couldn't hear you.
Yeah, that wouldn't be good. That wouldn't be good.
Oh man.
So, yeah, anyway, I'm just going to go ahead and continue right now because I just got done mute talking about the players that the Tigers received in exchange for Tarek Skubal. And I just finished talking about how I really think Andrew Freeman got one over on Scott Harris, because if I had to grade this trade from the Tigers standpoint, I give it a C-. Yeah, they get Zaire Hope, who's close to Major League ready. River Ryan has had a bevy of injury problems. Brady Smith is Brady Smith. I mean, he's not even close to being Major League ready right now. So it's just like if Skubal, who was the 2-time American League reigning Cy Young Award winner, is really as good and really as valuable as the Tigers claim he was, I would have thought Scott Harris would have made more of an effort to try and leverage this trade a little bit more. But obviously he didn't, and they got what they got.
Here's my thing about Skubal
go ahead.
here. The only ones I've been seeing crying mainly were the Yankee fans. Like, I don't even think they really even had a chance to win it all anyway in the state they're in right now. And I know y'all celebrating everything, and everybody else is kind of just like, give them the trophy, whatnot. It's over. We'll see y'all in 2028, blah, blah, blah. I look at this as like, this is kind of a relief for us because we're no longer going to be the hated team and the most hated team anymore. Y'all took that from us now. We might bump to the 3rd most hated team behind the Yankees and the Dodgers. But another reason for Yankee fans to cry. Y'all are not – I don't even think they're first place in their division anymore. Last I saw, I think they were like 2nd or 3rd. The way they're playing, they might not even make the playoffs if my calculations are correct.
It's possible. Yeah, it's possible. So anyway, for those of you watching this, I apologize if I was muted for the whole 15 minutes. But anyway, I'm not going to go back and restart the show. I'm just going to continue on with what I was talking about. And again, I was just kind of recapping the trade from yesterday. Dodgers get Skubal. We know that. And as you can see on my screen, there's who the Tigers get: Zaire Hope, River Ryan, and Brady Smith. So again, the overall grade on that for me would be a C-. So now let's go ahead and go to the Dodgers' projected starting rotation with Skubal now in the fold. So the way the rotation goes now, and this is in no discernible order, by the way, folks, is you would have Skubal, Yoshinobu Yamamoto, Shohei Ohtani, Blake Snell, and Tyler Glasnow would be your 5. And I'll get to the guys who are potentially going to be the odd men out. And by the way, we are glad to be joined here now by my man, Adam, who also is part of Driving to the Top Productions, has his show, Big Steel City Podcast with Big Rich Richardson. Glad to have you on, Adam. How you doing, bud?
Good yourself. What's going on, guys?
I'm doing well, man. I'm doing well.
I'm at camp, so obviously I'm trying to get my earpiece working, and it wasn't working.
Yeah, no worries. It's all good. All right, so getting back to the potential Dodgers starting 5 rotation, there you can see it on my screen. We have Skubal, Yamamoto, Ohtani, Snell, and Glasnow. And I'll get to the odd men out in this rotation in just a bit. So here's the thing with this potential Dodgers starting 5. We all know that Shohei Ohtani has been shelved indefinitely from pitching anymore for the rest of the regular season. Dave Roberts and the Dodgers organization have come out numerous times and said they are going to continue to monitor Ohtani's left knee, and they're going to continue to give him bullpen sessions when he's able to throw them. They're not going to put him on the injured list. That has come up, but that is not a realistic expectation at this time. I've been open numerous times on letting everyone know, especially on open mic night and on Fans of the Diamond on Monday night, I don't agree with the way the Dodgers are handling Ohtani, but we're not talking that right now. We're talking the overall picture here. So assuming that Ohtani is shut down for the rest of the regular season from pitching, that would put him in line to be in the October rotation. This is what it would look like with Ohtani would be presumably your number one starter, Yamamoto number 2. I would think that Skubal would be 3, and then you'd round out the starting 5 with Snell and Glasnow. That obviously on paper is a starting 5 that anybody would want, but we all know the injury proclivities of Blake Snell and Tyler Glasnow. Yoshinobu Yamamoto has still thrown the ball well, but he looks like he's starting to tire down a little bit. He has gone deep into ball games in pretty much every one of his starts this year. And so it just seems like Yamamoto is just really, really kind of hitting that patch in the road right now where he's just tired and struggling to find everything. But once they get to October, this is a starting rotation that I do feel good about if they can stay healthy. And obviously, if and when they play in a 3-game series, you got to like Ohtani, Skubal, and Yamamoto in a short series. Marcus, I know you're not a Dodgers fan. You're an Astros fan. But, I mean, if you were just looking at this from the outside in, from a non-fan perspective of the Dodgers, what do you think of that starting 5?
Well, it's outrageous, but, hey, y'all doing what y'all can for a 3-peat. But, see, this is my take about with the trade and everything. With picking up him, most of these guys y'all going to be paying. Most of them got contracts with y'all until the 2040s outside of Hernandez and Tanner Scott. Do they really owe $1.1 billion in deferred money to all these players like a Freddie Freeman, Mookie Betts, Kyle Tucker, Ohtani, Diaz, Will Smith? Like, I'm just naming a few people.
Yeah. Yes. To answer your question directly, yes, they do. In fact, their deferred contract that they're going to owe is actually going to increase at the end of the season. And I believe Mookie is already starting to get deferred money on his contract. So, yes, they owe a lot of deferred money to those aforementioned players and some other guys as well. And for those of you who say the Dodgers can't do that because it's illegal, wrong. It's very legal because it's a system built into the current collective bargaining agreement that is being argued about right now. That is another discussion for another day. So there you can see on my screen the starting 5 potentially for the Dodgers heading down the stretch. I also want to welcome in Big Rich Richardson, who's one half of the Big Steel City podcast on Driving to the Top Productions. Rich, my friend, how you doing?
What's going on, bud? You should be a very happy guy today.
I am extremely happy, and I'm going to get to that in just a few minutes because, yes, I was just telling everybody in my muted first 15 minutes of my show before I found out my input on my mic was wrong that the news of this trade for the Dodgers dropped after they dropped their game to the Red Sox yesterday 3-2. In fact, it happened literally just minutes after Dave Roberts was in the postgame press conference addressing everybody about how he felt the team played following their loss to the Red Sox yesterday. So this deal came up rather quickly, and it was consummated rather quickly. So as a fan, obviously, yes, I'm extremely happy because as you can see on my screen there, you throw Skubal in with Yamamoto, a healthy Ohtani, and Snell and Glasnow. That's a good starting 5 rotation to have going into October.
Well, that leads to 2 questions. First off, did you hear the Tigers broadcast team right after the announcement was made?
No, I did not.
Oh, it's on YouTube and it's on Facebook. And if you get a chance to listen to it, check it out. But in a nutshell, what they said was, we can never tell what's going to happen with this team. We're 2.5 out of a wild card spot, and you never know. We've seen the best and worst of this team, and now I think we're going to see the worst.
You know what?
Not a good look from the broadcast team.
No, that's not. And that's, as a broadcast team, your job is not to be a critic. Your job is to deliver the game objectively and in a manner that is appealing to the fans. And so I would imagine that their front office will, hopefully, the head of their media department will be talking with that broadcast team to tell them to shut the hell up, along with their public relations coordinator, at least in matters regarding free agency trades and whatnot. So as we move on, that gets to the odd men out. And as you can see here on my screen, guys and everyone, down there we have a list of some names that are potentially the odd men out in the starting rotation. Now, The back end of the rotation is where the biggest problems for the Dodgers have been. And this is where Tarek Skubal is going to help stabilize things. But with addition comes subtraction. And that means that Eric Lauer, Roki Sasaki, Justin Robleski, and Emmett Sheehan, or a combination of all four of these guys, are potentially looking at getting bumped out of the starting rotation. Now, let's also keep in mind that the trade deadline is officially midnight tomorrow on August 3rd. So that means that of this group here,
It's 6 p.m. It's 6 p.m. tomorrow.
okay, thank you. I stand corrected. 6 p.m. tomorrow. So out of this group right here, we know Roki Sasaki is not going anywhere. So I'll get to him in just a second. But Eric Lauer's name has also come up in trade talks. Justin Robleski's name hasn't, but so has Emmett Sheehan. So I think in order to thin down this rotation, what's going to happen next is Andy is going to work out another deal for somebody else, maybe a backup catcher or another bat in the lineup, and he's going to include either Eric Lauer and or Emmett Sheehan or both, along with some other minor league prospects to get rid of those two guys. And if that does happen, then I think the Dodgers will find a way to move Sasaki and Robleski into the bullpen. Now, there's still a chance that even Justin Robleski could be dealt. While I think that's very low, it's still a possibility because Robleski has done a fantastic job for the Dodgers this year. You could even argue, looking at his numbers, that he should be in the National League Cy Young Award picture. But it's going to be, we need to keep our eyes focused on Lauer and Sheehan because these two guys are the most expendable. Roki is the major project. Robleski is the guy that wasn't supposed to do anything, that popped out of a jack-in-the-box and became a big surprise. Everybody else, I'm going to start with Rich. What are your thoughts?
Well, it's funny you say that because I read a couple of things about the Rangers today that they had actually been in talks with the Dodgers for Kyle Higashioka, and Eric Lauer's name was brought up in that move.
Okay.
Could this also be a move that brings Corey Seager back to the Dodgers? I don't know. But the one thing that I was hearing was that they were in talks with the Dodgers because the Dodgers are needing a backup another catcher and that kind of thing. And Higashioka has a little bit of playoff experience and that kind of thing. So that's one that I heard this morning, in fact.
Okay, got it. What about you, Marcus?
No, but I want to say it's the 10-year anniversary. Y'all gave us Yordan Alvarez. Thank you for that.
My pleasure. And we were so happy to get Josh Fields back in that return. Fields panned out really well for us. Wrong.
How'd that trade work out?
Yeah, exactly. How did that trade work out? It worked out just as good as Pedro Martinez going to the Montreal Expos in exchange for Delino DeShields. Thank you very much.
They kept the wrong Martinez.
Yeah, right. No kidding. So real quickly, everyone, getting back to these odd men out, what's going to make this an even more interesting scenario is assuming that Lauer and Sheehan are dealt, which I think they ultimately will be. So where does that then leave Sasaki and Robleski if they stay? Is there going to be enough room in the bullpen for those two guys? I think the answer will be yes, and here's why. There are still a couple guys in that bullpen currently that still have some minor league options left, and so they could easily be sent back down. Also, Will Klein was just placed on the injured list with right elbow inflammation, which would explain why he stunk it up for the better part of the last month. So now they're going to – obviously they did some – that move was retroactive to 2 days ago. So they've already filled his spot. But the point being is that with a couple of guys in that bullpen still with some minor league options and another guy or two maybe going on the injured list, that's where your final two spots in that bullpen could go to Sasaki and Robleski.
Do you really think that they're going to be able to depend on Ohtani in the rotation with that knee?
No. Well, let me say yes and no, Rich. For the rest of the regular season, no. And given that the Dodgers have already stated numerous times they are not putting him on the injured list, they need to then just keep him off the mound entirely for the rest of the regular season. Get him his bullpen sessions in, get some side work in, have him continue to do strength and mobility, strength and flexibility, everything else like that. But if you're not going to put him on the injured list, then you have to at least keep him out of the rotation for the rest of the regular season. And this is where Skubal also comes in, but also Roki Sasaki can hold up that fifth spot in the rotation until they decide to bring Ohtani back. And I would add, I don't know if this is coincidence, but ever since Roki Sasaki got a bigger glove, he has had some really, really good starts, i.e., tipping his pitches, which is something that kind of floated around after his last disastrous start. So, if that's the case, then with Skubal here and Sasaki at the 5th spot in that rotation, that gives the Dodgers and Shohei absolutely no pressure to bring him back at all as a pitcher. So give him that extra time of side work. Make sure he still does some bullpen sessions to keep that elbow and that shoulder fresh as well.
You think Ohtani should just stay as designated hitter the rest of the season?
Yes, and for the rest of his career, Marcus, because it all comes down. No, seriously, I'm dead serious. Look, Shohei, we get it.
Ooh.
He is the greatest. Shohei is the greatest. But here's the thing. It comes down to valuation of the player and the productivity and what they ultimately signed him for. While the Dodgers signed him to be a two-way player, given what they need the most on their team, they need offense more than they need pitching. And they need Shohei's bat in the lineup in October more than they need his right elbow and his right shoulder. And so, yes, I think he should be removed out of the rotation entirely. Keep him as a hitter, sit down with him and his agent and say, let's rework something. We know you want to be a pitcher, but for your long-term health and your short-term health, it's just not going to work out. Maybe we can revisit this another year down the line, but at least for the time being, Marcus, yes, he needs to stay a hitter and not a pitcher. What were you going ooh for?
Okay. Rich, are you watching the game? Because they just put Alstorm in on the mound, and I don't think he meant it. He freaking threw like a 97-mile ball at Tenier, hit him right in the damn head, and they had to put Altuve as his designated runner to take his spot, to take his base, because he got hit in the forehead.
Yeah, I'm not. I had been doing some stuff for work and that tomorrow, but this is another one of those cases. I mean, it's really hard to believe that the two teams that I pull for have almost exactly similar problems. Of course, now the Pirates, Spencer Horwitz definitely is not getting dealt now with Ryan O'Hearn being out. But yeah, that whole bullpen, they throw hard. They just don't know where it's going. So I feel bad for Pena getting hurt. But I'm not overly surprised with Alstrom out there. He just isn't.
Yeah, well, he threw Alvarez hit a pop fly. He ain't happy about it, but now Isaac's at the plate.
Well, and you'll probably see one of the Rangers get hit, probably like a Duran, or I wouldn't hit Seager if I was them.
I got home late. I got to see who started because they were undecided the other day. I don't know who started today for the Astros, but looks like
Jason, when you're sitting looking at
the
situation right now,
yeah,
do you think the Dodgers are done? Realistic? Or you think they're done initiating deals?
No.
Do you think they'll listen to other people's deals? Hey, we'll give you Kyle Gasioka for Wroblewski or Lauer, but will they still be going out to initiate deals between now and the deadline?
Yes, because number one, they still have other needs on their team. They still need a competent, decent backup catcher to spell Dalton Rushing. And even though the health prognosis on Will Smith is a little bit better, he's resumed baseball activities. They still aren't expecting Smith back for a while. In fact, Rich, they're kind of expecting Will Smith to be back TBD, to be determined. So yeah, they still need a backup catcher. They still have needs in the bullpen. So yes, Andrew Friedman is not done. I guarantee you this guy is punching the phones right now, and he is still trying to find ways to make this team better.
And I'll tell you this, as someone that's been behind the plate for a long time, if he takes, even when he does come back, if he takes another one of those square shots, which he takes a lot of, square to the face, square to the top of the head, and jerks that neck back, it's gonna re-trigger, and then he's out again for another 3 months.
Yeah, and Will Smith has already had 2 or 3 major concussions throughout his young career, so you're absolutely right.
If I was Smith, what I would be doing, to be honest with you, is buying another glove, go down to number 5,
Yeah.
and say, hey, teach me this position because you're not long for this league. And whenever you retire, I want to take your spot.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely, and it's, it's a conversation that I know the Dodgers have had behind closed doors numerous times, and it's only going to get magnified based on how well he progresses. But at least for the time being, it would not hurt the Dodgers to go out and make another deal. So, everyone, I'm going to go ahead and take a quick break, just for a few seconds. When I come back, I'm going to bring everybody else back, and we'll continue to talk about whether or not the Dodgers are really ruining Major League Baseball. And what does this mean not only for the future of the franchise moving forward, but also for the future of the game moving forward as well? So stick around. Be back in about 15 seconds. Wow, no music.
Oh, Rich.
We got music. We got us, guys.
Rich, how far are you from Salado, Texas?
From Salado, about an hour.
Oh, I said it wrong. I saw they built a new $35 million stadium.
Mm-hmm.
All right, everybody. Welcome back. That was a quick break with no music. I got to love that. Don't worry. I'm going to improve on that. Hey, guys, like I said, this is just my third show. So you know what? You make incremental baby steps to get better each and every show. And I haven't produced a radio show in a long time. But at any rate, glad to have you guys back. It's Dodgers Time, the podcast. I'm your host, Jason, Dodgers fan extraordinaire, joined by Marcus, my man, who has a podcast here on Driving to the Top Productions on the Go, I believe, GEAUX. Along with my two guys for the Big Steel City podcast, Adam and Rich. Glad to have you guys with me. So I've spent most of the
fire. I'm playing with fire right now. I really am.
Okay. I hope you know what you're doing, dude.
Yeah, well, I'm trying to get this damn thing started to burn some shit.
Yeah.
Anyway,
right.
I'm enjoying listening to you guys, and I'm going to answer questions whenever you ask.
All right, cool deal. Well, then, hey, before I get into whether or not the Dodgers are ruining Major League Baseball, I do want to go ahead and get back to the return of Timmy Trumpet this past week. My man, Edwin Diaz, returned to the Dodger bullpen after a lengthy 3-month delay, and it was pretty much the return I expected. He walked a couple guys, gave up a couple hits, but still was able to get the save. Didn't look comfortable out there on the mound, but I wasn't expecting him to shut it down like Goose Gossage and get 3 outs on 9 consecutive pitches. It feels good to have Diaz back in the bullpen because he lengthens out that bullpen a little bit. He's going to make life a little easier on Tanner Scott, life a little easier on Evan Phillips. And, I think if he can stay healthy and if Evan Phillips can stay healthy and continue to progress, same thing with Tanner Scott, I think that helps the Dodgers out immensely there. And our bullpen, especially the back end, has really been worn out. We saw that the other night against Boston when Dave Roberts gave the weekly toss-up game. And Cole Irvin, I feel bad for you, buddy. All right, Doc left you out there to wear that one. I'm not blaming you for that 5-run inning implosion that happened when Boston was hitting every single thing you threw. Blame the Dodgers for having a crappy hands-on way of dealing with the bullpen. So that's not your fault, man. That's Dave Roberts and Mark Pryor's fault. But anyway, that's another conversation for another day. So as we go on with It's Dodgers Time, the podcast, we're obviously going to get to the numero uno question that seems to be floating around Major League Baseball and the entire sports world, and that is, are the Dodgers ruining Major League Baseball? And this is where my fellow cohorts here can chime in. They don't necessarily need to know anything about Dodgers baseball because, again, that everyone is chiming in left and right with their own thoughts and their own opinions on this question. And I'm not actually going to be the first to answer this one because it makes too much sense to have a Dodgers fan answer this one. I'm going to go ahead and just go around the horn. And Adam, I'm going to start with you first, man. What are your thoughts about the Skubal deal? Are the Dodgers ruining Major League Baseball by continuing to corner the market on all the top players available in both trades and free agency?
No, these owners have money. I don't want to hear it. They can go do whatever they want. You know, if they want to keep money in their pocket, keep money in their pocket and stop bitching.
All right, short and succinct.
28 other teams had a chance to get Skubal, and all they had to do was finish out the contract for the year and give up a couple players that might or might not make the league.
Yeah. Well, and just to kind of intervene on that a little bit, funny you mentioned that, Adam, because the Milwaukee Brewers and the Atlanta Braves were the two other big front runners to get Tarik Skubal. The Braves came out and said, we're not going to give up our top 2 guys to get him. The The Brewers came out and said, we're not going to give our top 2 guys to get him. The Dodgers also said, we're not giving up DePaula and our other top prospects to get him, which begs the question, okay, if that's all that Detroit settled for, then they could have easily had him for Milwaukee for a similar package, or from Atlanta for a similar package. So, Big Rich, I'm going to shift it over to you, buddy. You got the mic. What do you think about all this? Are the Dodgers ruining baseball, my friend? Please be objective.
No, they're not. And the whole thing I thought about when I looked at that list was I'm sitting there going, okay, realistically, the Pirates could have put together a deal for Tamar Johnson, the password, and another prospect, and it would have been an equal type trade. The only thing the Dodgers are taking money-wise is the last 2 months of this contract, and it's what he's getting paid now. So it's not like they're paying him $50 million over the next 2 months. They're paying him probably $9 million over the next couple of months.
$9.5 million.
There you go. So everybody in the league had the opportunity to do it. I think, to be perfectly honest, I think Detroit got absolutely raked over the coals on this deal because of the talent they gave up and the lack of talent they got. But Detroit was also bent over the fire because if they didn't get rid of him, they were going to lose him. Everybody knows Detroit was not going to put $45 million a year for 10 years or whatever on the table to re-sign him. So are the Dodgers ruining baseball? No. Are the Dodgers in this situation taking advantage of a situation? Absolutely. And they're smart for doing it. The Yankees are pretty stupid for not doing it because they could have gotten him and not gotten rid of Lombard, not gotten rid of Jones, and still been able to make the deal. I just think that, and please take this with every bit that's intended, the best thing that could happen and for people to quit squawking is for the Dodgers to get to the World Series and lose, or to lose in the playoffs. Which this just in, folks. You don't play the game on the balance sheet. You play the game on the field, like right behind Jason. And that's why you have a team like the Diamondbacks in 2001, like the Marlins in 97, like the Rangers in 2023 that came out of nowhere and win a World Series. That could just as easily happen this year, guys.
Yeah, well,
the Dodgers on paper have the best team. No question about it. They on paper have the best team.
Yep.
But you don't play the game on the paper.
Yeah, well said by both of you. Marcus, what's your take on that? Are the Dodgers ruining MLB, my friend?
Well, according to Yankee and Tiger fans, they're thinking that. But to be honest, no single person is universally cited as ruining or officially ruining MLB. Though there's fan frustrations and analysts often point to big spending powerhouse teams like your Dodgers for dominating headlines and high-profile trades. But the frustration is often directed as high-spending front offices, struggling star players, or broader competitive imbalances. Depends on who you ask for. I mean, complaints focus on different frustrations around the league, like underperforming stars like a Manny Machado who's facing heavy scrutiny for sharp offensive declines. You got big market teams like the Mets who had to draw sharp criticism from fans for high payrolls that fail to match on-field results. And hell, even franchises like the Giants who are facing heavy local criticism for failing to meet expectations despite significant financial investments. It's all kinds of crazy shit. But they want to blame it all on the Dodgers because they got more money.
Yeah, well said by all four of you. And before I get to what I'm going to say, I saw the comments in here. James Bond, I hear you, man. We got him, but that doesn't necessarily mean, while I share your optimism that a three-peat is coming, like what Rich said, you got to play the games. The games are played on the field and not the paper, which comes to my take, are the Dodgers ruining baseball? Now, I believe I can be objective about this as a Dodgers fan because I've gone on record numerous times, both on open mic night and on Fans of the Diamond, by saying overall, I would love to see more parity in Major League Baseball, both financially and from a competition standpoint. However, what are the Dodgers supposed to do? Are they supposed to sit back and rest on their laurels? Are they just supposed to sit back and feel sorry for the other 29 teams that aren't doing what their owners are supposed to do and I believe are entitled to do to make their teams better? No. There is no moral clause that is keeping Andrew Friedman and Stan Kasten from making this team better. When this ownership group purchased this team in 2012, they said, we are in it to win it. And their owner, Mark Walters, said, you let me know what you need and I will give it to you. And the Dodgers ownership has stuck to their word since day one. The Dodgers aren't ruining baseball because they are taking advantage of a system that was put in place by the 29 other teams. They are doing what they told their fans to do. And I guarantee you right now, with all due respect to all of you guys here, I guarantee you that if the Rangers were doing this, the Astros, the Pirates, the Yankees, the Marlins, the Giants, all the other teams, if they were making these transactions, you guys would be saying the exact opposite. Okay. And then the rest of the fans would be saying the exact opposite as well. What is ruining Major League Baseball is the system itself, is the infrastructure of the system, how it's monitored, how it's controlled, and how it's dished out. What's also ruining Major League Baseball is owners coming out and complaining about the Dodgers spending. Owners like Dick Monfort of the Colorado Rockies and Bob Castellini of the Cincinnati Reds complain about the Dodgers spending money because they aren't doing it, okay? And I don't want to hear talks about how, well, the Dodgers are in the second most powerful media market in the country. It doesn't matter whether you play in LA, Cincinnati, Denver, Pittsburgh, or Miami. As the owner of a sports team, you are still obligated to put the best product out there on the field and to provide your fans with a reason to come through those turnstiles. Geography has nothing to do with it. Being creative with your marketing, hiring the right people to do their jobs has everything to do with it. Oh, and by the way, owners, stay out of the baseball making decisions because a lot of you aren't very good at it. And if you think I'm wrong about that, why don't you talk to Artie Moreno in Anaheim? Why don't you talk to Bob Nutting in Pittsburgh? Why don't you talk to Dick Monfort in Colorado? Why don't you talk to the owners who have meddled in their team's affairs, who continue to set them back year after year simply because they think they know what's best for their teams? I got news for you guys. They know jack shit. So, objectively speaking, no, the Dodgers are not ruining Major League Baseball. They are doing what their fans want, which is consistently putting a winner on the field. And if that means we have to be public enemy number one, and if that means I have to go to hell for being a Dodgers fan, so be it. All right, we have a chance to make history here. Let's go for it. Okay, so
the only ones that complain basically are the ones that are not number one. If they're not the best team in the country, then they're going to blame it on the best team in the country.
Right. And you know what, Marcus? It happens across all facets of sports, okay? We saw this in the NFL with the New England Patriots. We had all the haters come out against the Patriots. We saw it in the NBA during the Chicago Bulls dynasties and during the Lakers and the Celtics dynasties. We've seen it in all facets of sports. This happens. And I get it. And you know what? I feel bad for the other fan bases because I really wish they had ownership who were as committed to putting a winning product on the field as the Dodgers were. And if I was the fan of the Pittsburgh Pirates or the Houston Astros, well, the Astros have done, I think, a decent job of putting a consistent winner on the field. But if I was the fan of, say, the Marlins or the if I was a fan of the Marlins,
Angels,
or the Angels or the
Rockies.
Pirates, yeah, even if we didn't get the best free agents or the best trades, as long as we were still going out and being active and obtaining players that fit in with what we want to do, I would be happy with that. Now, maybe that's an unfair comparison, but still, okay, I feel bad for the fan bases that feel like they can't root for their teams and who also subsequently feel it's necessary to blame the Dodgers for their owners' lack of involvement or whatever they want to do. So that's just my take. Anyone else have any final takes before I move on to the next subject? Nope.
You about said it all. You about said it all.
All right, we're all good.
Good.
All right, well, that,
I can't believe we all agree that the Dodgers are not ruining baseball.
I know, right? I know. Hell must be freezing over.
I can because we're all sensible about this and we're not jumping. We're not seeing things through fandom eyes. We're seeing things through baseball fan eyes.
Yeah, exactly.
And, we all look at it that, the Yankees have the same kind of money. The Cubs have the same kind of money. The Mets have the same kind of money. They're just not making the moves that the Dodgers are.
Yeah.
And I'm not surprised that the four of us agree just simply because we're not looking at it and jumping to a conclusion. We're thinking it through thoroughly, and
Yeah.
That's where we're coming up with our opinions.
Yeah, exactly. Well, that's going to get us to one of our last topics of the day, and that is there hope for Kyle Tucker? This is going to make the haters happy because Kyle Tucker the Dodgers are in a really unique situation with this guy right now. And this is very problematic because as we get closer towards the end of the regular season, we know they're going to need everybody at the top of their game to help them win a third consecutive World Series title. And Tucker was brought in to do that to the tune of about $246 million over, I think it was 6 or 7 years. Well, suffice to say, Tucker's .231 batting average, 9 home runs, 32 RBIs, and 295 slugging percentage at Dodger Stadium. You heard that right, Dodgers fans. 295 slugging percentage at Dodger Stadium is not going to suffice. Here are my thoughts on Kyle Tucker and whether or not there's any hope for him for the rest of the season. My answer is no. And here's the reason why. Okay. I've watched Kyle Tucker swing the bat a lot, not only this season, but when he came up with the Astros and then when he played with the Cubs last season. Overall, what I'm seeing out of Kyle Tucker is I'm just seeing a player who's not confident. I see a guy who goes up to home plate and swings the bat like Helen Keller at a piñata party and also swings the bat like a deer in headlights. Okay. Before the Dodgers signed Kyle Tucker to that massive free agent contract, his offensive metrics were actually declining from his last year in Houston to last season in Chicago, and now it's ultimately snowballed into what it is now. In fact, I recall getting on open mic night, I think it was around winter of last year, saying I really didn't want the Dodgers to get him. The Blue Jays could have had him. Because if you recall, the two teams that were jostling for him were the Dodgers and the Blue Jays. Obviously, the Dodgers swooped in with the better offer. Toronto said, great, we're going to shift gears and move on to the next guy. So with Tucker, the thing I'm noticing the most again is just a lack of confidence. He goes up there, he's not having fun, but when he goes up there, he's just not swinging the bat confidently. He's very soft-spoken, okay? He's not going to express his troubles or his problems with the organization, either internally or externally. Another thing, too, with Kyle Tucker I've noticed, and offensively, is I'm going to put most of the blame or some of the blame on their hitting coach, Rob Van Scoyoc. You all know what a big non-fan of Rob Van Scoyoc I am. Here's the reason why. I watched all of Tucker's at-bats in this Red Sox series and in the series before against the Mariners. His swing right now is spread out all over San Bernardino County. He has his hips moving forward before his shoulders come forward. He has his hands spread apart too far on the bat. He's trying to come at a downward angular trajectory to try and hit the ball. He doesn't have any weight balance. He doesn't have any weight distribution. His lead foot is getting out way too far before his plant foot is providing the leverage he needs to swing the bat. And I do not find it coincidental whatsoever that these struggles have hit a rock bottom since Rob Van Scoyoc has been his hitting coach. Why do I say that, folks and fellow Dodgers fans? You guys know that Rob Van Scoyoc preaches analytics and hitting, launch angle, and exit velocity. Now, I don't have any factual evidence to back this up. I'm stating fallacy, which for those of you who don't know what that means, fallacy is stating any argument without having any factual evidence to back it up. However, my factual evidence isn't on a sheet of paper. It's what's on the TV screen. It's looking at the guy who's swinging the bat, or I should say not swinging the bat. And the reason why this is problematic for the Dodgers is because when they get into October, if they have 2 or 3 hitters like Muncy and Freddie Freeman and Mookie Betts continue, like if they struggle in October, they are going to need another hitter to step up to the plate and deliver a key hit with 2 outs and the bases loaded or anything else. And at this juncture of the season, I am not confident in Kyle Tucker. I'm not confident that he can do that, which is why I think, and I know the Dodgers won't do this. This isn't a perfect world scenario, but I honestly think the Dodgers need to bench him for the rest of the regular season. Get your offensive production for elsewhere. Take him out of the starting lineup. Put in somebody else who can do a little bit more offensively. Kike Hernandez just came back. Let him share time in the outfield with Kike and Kyle Tucker. But basically, that's my belief on Tucker. If he hasn't done anything by now, he's not going to do anything at all. And I don't think Rob Van Scoyoc is doing him any favors. Gentlemen, do you have any thoughts about Kyle Tucker and his season-long slump?
You think they're going to try and move him, Jay?
No. No, because first of all, they have too much money invested in him. Secondly, Adam, it's just one season. And the Dodgers historically don't really cut bait with star players who struggle in their first season. I think they're going to give him at least 3 years to see if he has a bounce back season, whether it's next year or the year after that or whatever. Because again, all the armchair experts are predicting that Major League Baseball won't be played at all next season, which it may not. So no, I don't think they jettison him this quick. I think they'll give him another season to see what he can do. Rich, what are your thoughts?
I was never a huge fan of Tucker from the beginning. I was right there with you when you said about the Dodgers not picking him up. I never saw the value in him, and I was just looking at his baseball reference numbers. And ever since 2023, where he had 29 bombs, 112 RBI. Year before, he had 30 homers and 107 RBI, okay?
Yeah.
He's driven in 49 runs, 73 runs, 51 runs. And his batting average has been 289, 266, 235.
Mm-hmm.
You see this steady decline from him. And part of that reason is, if I remember correctly, and Marcus, tell me if I'm wrong, directly behind Mr. Tucker when he was in Houston was either Bregman or Alvarez in the lineup, or Altuve. One of those three guys was right there behind him, protecting him. This year, he doesn't have that protection. And it's coming crystal clear that if he doesn't have protection and get basically candy-fed pitching, he's not that good. And he's definitely not a good right fielder. He's good. He's not
real quick. Can you guys
anything to write home?
Hold on real quick. Can you guys hear that rain?
Yeah.
Yeah, I can hear it a little bit.
What rain?
You want to put me on mute? I'm sitting outside at my porch on my deck, so
Yeah, hold
you
on.
want to put me on mute? That way Rich can finish the statement.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean,
Skip?
I just don't think Tucker is a guy that can do it. And I'll use the guy that I was just mentioning a minute ago, Yordan Alvarez. You know, I don't care if you put you, me, or Marcus behind him in the batting order. Alvarez is still going to hit.
It was Jordan, by the way.
It was Jordan. Okay.
And 2, Skip got ejected.
Well, not surprised. But
Arguing with an umpire. I just turned it back on, and all I saw was an ump do that right in front of Skip. And I'm like, what the hell did Skip get ejected for?
Tucker did fine in Houston for a couple of reasons. Protection and the short porch and right. Wrigley, short porch and right, had protection behind him again. And, you know, he just doesn't – and it's not for a lack of the Dodgers having guys to protect him. It's just, let's be perfectly honest. Freeman is not having a Freeman-type year. Will Smith has been out most of the year. Pages is hitting ahead of him, you know, so I honestly think that, you know, you're asking, is there hope for Kyle Tucker? I don't think there is.
No, and something else too, kind of piggyback off what you just said, is that Dave Roberts has moved him up and down in the lineup on multiple occasions this season. He's had him bat third, cleanup, 5, 6, 7, and now it's to the point where he's batting anywhere between 7th and 8th in the lineup. And Rich, he's actually doing worse at the bottom of the lineup than he did when he was at the top of the lineup. So yeah, he just looks completely overwhelmed. And Marcus, I know you saw a lot of him in Houston. So, I mean, I don't know if you saw this coming down the pipeline or if you share mine and Rich's same sentiments, but I mean, was this just going to happen to Tucker regardless of who he played for?
I mean, Tucker had some bad – Tucker – this ain't the first time. I mean, he's had his deals with the Astros, and with that lineup, you know, it was Jordan, because 9 times out of 10, like the last couple of years, yeah, Altuve started the lineup, but when we had George Springer, he started, then Altuve, then Bregman, then Jordan, then Kyle Tucker. Like that's kind of mainly how it was back in the day. Or when we had Correa was like in between Bregman and Alvarez. Then it was Kyle Tucker. Usually it's
Okay.
the same. That's how the batting range was, and
Yeah.
they never really changed it unless it was like injury wise.
Okay.
But
Interesting.
but
Uh,
yeah, he was always good on the. He was good in the outfield, but couldn't. He, his batting average was always high. It's like he didn't have the
Yeah.
best batting average or OBP. His OBP was actually outstanding, but it was the fucking batting average that was
mhm. Right.
so high.
Yeah. Adam, what say you, man? Did you expect Tucker to have a blowout season this year, or is there any hope for him at all for the rest of the season?
Cal Tucker. What a question. I like him. I mean, I thought he got paid a lot of money, and all of a sudden there's a lot more pressure on him. I mean, there's always hope. There's always hope. I mean, somewhere maybe switch up his. I mean, just do what the Cleveland Guardians did with Stephen Kwan for a while and move him around until he found his comfort zone. Now all of a sudden he's back to where he was, and he's since I think June 15th. I think he's batting 456. So I mean, in Cleveland, Kwan does Kwan things, but in the beginning of the season, he was batting 136 or something. It was awful.
Yeah.
So I mean, maybe you need to move him around a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, we all bring up valid points about Tucker, and I think with the Dodgers, the reasons why they gave him such the high contract despite the declining numbers, which is surprising because we all know how much Andrew Friedman values numbers. I think they got nervous. I think they were afraid that somebody else like the Blue Jays were going to swoop in at the last minute and get him and run the risk that he was going to turn into a Triple Crown threat. Obviously, it didn't happen. But again, Adam, going back to what you said earlier, I don't think they're going to get rid of him after just one season. They have too much invested in him, and I think they're going to give him a little bit more time to pan out, whether it's this year or the seasons beyond. So that gets to my parting shot, everyone. And you all know that when I appear on Open Mic Night on Tuesdays and on Fans of the Diamond on Monday, before I leave, I love to give my parting shot. So this is going to be my parting shot for the day. And it does have to do with Tarik Skubal, and it does have to do with the Los Angeles Dodgers, okay? And I kind of already said some of it a few minutes ago, but I'm just going to go back and reiterate this. It's so easy to pile on the Dodgers for doing what they're doing, which is trying to build a sustained winner, a team that wants to compete for and win championships each and every season. And I know it's easy for all of us to have knee-jerk reactions to what's going on. For those of us like me who get excited about this, it's easy to be excited and not think about the long-term ramifications of what it means for such a wonderful and beautiful and fun sport later down the road. But I will say this. Regardless of what happens as a result of the Tarik Skubal trade, I'm just going to go back and reiterate that the Los Angeles Dodgers ultimately will not be the reason for a 2027 labor stoppage if and when there is one. The last time I checked, there are 30 teams that comprise Major League Baseball. All 30 owners and all the players involved in Major League Baseball had to ratify the current collective bargaining agreement that's being argued and moaned about right now. And you can't blame the Dodgers for taking advantage of the system that was designed to help them take advantage of it and build the sustained winner that they've been doing for the better part of a decade. So I get the complaints. I hear what everybody's saying. But you know what? The greatest disaster that's going to happen as a result of this is potentially all the young fans that we're going to lose. Because Major League Baseball right now has been at an apex for the last 5 to 6 years. The TV ratings have gone up. The merchandise sales have gone up. Interest in the games overall have gone up. We've seen attendance spike at home games for every team across the board. And overall franchise valuations have increased as well. And all of that is going to come to a screeching halt simply because of the collective bargaining agreement that they are trying. Well, they're not trying hard at all to renegotiate. Neither side is talking to each other right now. The players don't want anything to do with the owners. The owners don't want anything to do with the players. And it's now gotten to the point where they stop talks. They're going to pick everything up after the World Series at the end of the season. So if there is a work stoppage, everyone, it's not the Dodgers' fault. And I'm not going to apologize on behalf of the Dodgers, nor am I going to apologize for being a Dodgers fan, because the Dodgers are doing what they know they're supposed to do, what they know they have to do, and most importantly, what they know they want to do. So instead of pointing the finger of blame at the boys in blue that reside in Southern California point the finger of blame at your team's owner, at the commissioner of Major League Baseball, at the agents, the media rights deals. Point the finger of blame elsewhere. But again, I digress. That's all I have to say. So with that being said, despite my 15 minutes of opening technical problems, I want to thank you guys for tuning in to It's Dodgers Time, the podcast, brought to you again by Driving to the Top Productions. I want to thank my guests for jumping in here, Marcus, who has his On the Go podcast, and then Adam and Big Rich for the Big Steel City podcast. You can see them as well. I think you guys are on what, Wednesday, and then Marcus, you're on Thursday. Is that how it works?
Yep.
They're on Wednesdays. I'm gonna move back to Wednesdays when we're officially underway with football season. Like when we get to our scrimmage week, I'm gonna move back to Wednesdays. I kind of did it as a summer thing to change it up and to give them more of the spotlight. But I didn't change the time, but I'm debating if I'm gonna change the time or not on mine. I might bounce in an hour back to 8 p.m. or 7:30. I'm gonna think about it. But no, if you saw me clapping, we were tied and Cam hit a single RBI to the outfield, and they tried to throw it. Whoever's playing catcher fucking popped the ball out his glove, and Taylor Trammell got to slide and take the lead 4-3.
Yeah.
A little error for the catcher there.
All right. Well, with that being said, it is time to get out of here. I will come back to you guys early next week with a post-trade deadline show, just in case Andy Friedman decides to get cute and pull off any other trades to piss other people off. I'll come back with a post-trade deadline recap of what else the Dodgers did, if anything at all. Otherwise, you'll probably see me tomorrow on Fans of the Diamond Chat and then on Open Mic Night on Tuesday. So again, thank you all for being here. I greatly appreciate your support. Thanks again to the guys at Driving to the Top Productions for their support of this show. And with that being said, we're going to go ahead and get out of here. You guys enjoy the rest of your Sunday. Take care of yourselves. Take care of each other. God bless, and I'll see you on the flip side. Take care.
Weezy on the beat.